and I'm going to mute myself and let Ronnie take over. And we're excited to hear what you have to teach us about RPR and doing CMAs.
Okay,
Ronnie
so,
is the master at this, so hope you've got lots of paper to take lots of good notes.
all right. So first things first, how many of you use RPR already on a regular basis? Show of hands. Okay. All right. So this is going to become your new best friend. The reason is RPR is included in your National Association of Realtors membership. It is one of the most powerful tools agents don't use specifically. Oops, excuse me. Spam. And what I mean by that is out of the 1.5 million National Association of Realtor members, only half of them actually use RPR. And that's really, I like to say that's an embarrassment, to be honest with you, because it is such a great tool. How many of you like to get business in spite of yourself? What I mean by that is, yeah, okay. If you have picked up the shift book or read the shift book or know about the shift book, there is a page there that it's called a MOFR, make offer for immediate response. And today I'm going to teach you how to do what we call an equity analysis. The equity analysis is quick, fast, and easy. We're also going to learn how to do a full-blown comparative market analysis, a CMA. Okay? So before I begin, can someone please tell me what is a CMA?
Comparative market analysis.
Very good. Ding, ding, ding. What is a CMA not?
Value. The value.
An
Well,
appraisal.
well, there is value, but yes, it's not an appraisal. Now, for the bonus, why is it not appraisal?
Because we're not licensed appraisers.
That's one reason. Next. What else? Okay. So, the essence of time, everybody in this room can do a CMA, correct? The difference between a CMA and appraisal, you don't pay for it. That's the difference between a CMA and appraisal. The reason being is a CMA is identical 100% to an appraisal. And because we haven't gone to school and we haven't taken the course and we haven't done this and that, we can't ask them to pay for it. But guess what? You're going to find out that, believe it or not, the appraisers use RPR also. When they get to a property, they've already got 99.9% of the appraisal done before they even step onto the property. Yeah. And what I found out through using this beautiful tool is that was the reality. They also use RPR. So I have a handout. You can play along. You can download it if you want, and or if you can print it out, you can print it out. If not, I'm going to use it and show you it. Let me see if I can make sure that I get it into the chat. I wanted to wait before we started. Okay.
Bonnie, could you email it to me and I'll go print it out for everybody?
Who am I emailing it to?
mariegentile@gmail.com.
Hold on.
Don't
Jenny.
don't worry about it, Ronnie. Put it in the chat, and I'll make sure that it gets to Paula or Daniel to print for Marie in the group for sake of
Thank
time.
you. There you go. It's in the chat right now. Let me know
Got
if
it.
you got it. Cool. All right. So
Tell it to
let's
me. I'll
go.
print it now.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go and let's see. Okay. Can everybody see my screen shared?
Bunny, can I have a question first?
Okay.
What is RPR stands for?
Oh, but we're going to talk about that. Thank you for asking that, though. I'm so glad you did ask that question. That is one of the questions I ask because it's amazing that when you understand what it is and why what it's called what it is, then you understand why it is so precious and why it is the most valuable tool agents should be using. So if you see my screen, you'll see it says get a CMA in 10 steps. Yes, it shouldn't take you no more than 10 steps. Those of you that have done CMAs, how long does it take you? Anyone? How long?
Not long at all.
It shouldn't take more than 10 minutes, to be honest with you. Yesterday, when I was preparing for this class, it took me 10 minutes to get it set up. And I had to redo it because the data from 2 weeks ago I couldn't use because things changed. So yeah, it took me 10 minutes. Of course, I know what I'm doing, so that helps. But here's the reality, guys. My office, I started in teaching at night in 2016, and I taught it every day. And I pushed this class left and right. And of course, everybody that took the class, they showed up when they had a listing that they were going to go do, or they showed up when they had a buyer that they're going to work with. And they were saying, I need to do a CMA. And I said, well, we don't have 2 hours to teach you how to do it. So we're going to do it in less than 10 minutes. And that's part 2 of this class, where I'm going to show you where you can easily find the value of a home without having to do a CMA. That's how scary it is. Because the truth of the matter is your buyers, sellers, and investors are already doing it, and they're using the data against you, in case you didn't know it. Okay? So good part is everybody is in my MLS and is in my, well, you're either at Oscar or you're at Aura, correct? Doesn't matter. Okay? I came from Oscar when it was on Shady Deal Lane. That was the address. Well, it's called Shady Lane, but we used to call Shady Deal Lane. Anyway, so it says get a CMA in 10 steps. Very simply, it says log in to Stellar MLS and select Matrix. Okay. Your home page for Matrix will look something like this. It may have been updated. You guys may be using the new version. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Next thing is, it's going to say to you, next, we're going to type in the target address, the home that you want to get RPR reports for comps in the speed bar. That's the bar up here with the magnifying glass. Okay. I'm going to be switching off with my shares to this handout and, of course, going to the live version of the MLS. So let me just see if I can move it around. That should be it. Let's see if it switches for me. I don't think it did. Okay, let's try now. See what that does. Okay. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. All right, so let's try it again. Where are you, Matrix? There you are. Okay, so that there. And I'm going to share. Okay, everybody should see my Matrix screen. We are going to put in the target address. The target address is 2631 Archfeld Boulevard, Kissimmee, Florida 34747. But if you know the Stellar MLS the way I do, less is more in the speed bar. The only thing you need to put in there is 2631 Archfeld, and then click, and that will be the next step. The next step will bring up a list of Archfeld, and we're looking for the active status. We'll click on the multiple listing service number, and then it brings up what? It brings up our broker synopsis. Okay? Now, Upon looking at this, you'll see it's in Windsor Hills, which is a 24-hour man-gated community, full resort, about 2 miles from the pearly gates of Walt Disney World. It has been on the market. Can anybody tell me how many days?
96.
96. So what's the first ding, ding, ding that somebody's going to tell you?
Overpriced.
Price too high.
Overpriced. Oh my God. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. How many of you believe that it's overpriced? Okay. I wish I could have used a better example because I typically like to show examples that have average days on market of 300 and then make you know that guess what? It's not overpriced. At 96 days on market, it's not overpriced. Does anybody know why?
No.
The reason it's not overpriced, I gave you the tip off. It's 2 miles from the pearly gates of Walt Disney World. It is a very successful short-term rental community and a very successful short-term rental property, meaning that it's booked, averaging about 37 weeks out of the year. And they're not going to stop and let showings happen when they got guests paying top dollar. But the clock keeps ticking. And I remember bringing buyers to this subdivision and telling them, listen, I could only get you in there on the changeover day. There's going to be sheets off the bed. There's going to be towels on the floor. Just look past it. And that's why we're able to get in and see it. So remember, some of these short-term rental communities, days on market, you have to educate your buyers that this is not overpriced. Maybe. We're going to find out using RPR. All right, so the next part of the handout will say to go up here where we have these icons. These icons are valuable to you. We're going to look for the last icon. The last icon is RPR Property Report. Okay? We're going to click on that RPR Property Report. It should sign you in. If not, like I say, get with Paula, or there's an 800 number on the bottom left of that page, and you can call RPR to get you hooked up in rapid, less than 5 minutes when I tell you. So it's showing us 2631 Archfeld Boulevard, Kissimmee, Florida, 34747. The list price is $639.9. I'm going to teach you something about that. I get so nervous when I see these things. We'll talk about that in just a second. The RVM. What is this RVM? You're going to ask me, what's the RVM? Let's see what it says here. An RVM is an estimated value that's generated by an automated valuation model that uses on-market and off-market MLS listing data plus publicly recorded sold data to provide an estimated property value. An RVM is our most accurate estimated value. RVMs and AVMs, which are automated valuation model, are available for single-family residence, condominiums, smaller multifamily properties. RVMs and AVMs are updated twice a month. Okay, and I'll show you what it means. So on 6/7, this was updated, and they're saying that the realtor valuation model is 630-160. There is a confidence score. The confidence score is 5. When a confidence score is 5, I will tell you 99 out of 100 times, that's what this is going to sell or appraise for. That's what it should sell or appraise for. Okay? So now getting back to the first question that was asked, what does RPR stand for? RPR stands for Realtors Property Resource. Realtors Property Resource. It's not customers property resource. The only ones that can use this is a realtor that's licensed with NAR, because you get it with your membership. Okay? So it's realtors property resource. As you noticed, it says RVM, and RVM is the realtor valuation model. Realtors. It's kind of like command. It's built by realtors for realtors. Now, before we go any further, this one went right to RPR. The last one that I was using did not go to RPR. Or if the property has never been on the MLS, it won't go through the MLS, even though it's listed. Or you may be having a property that you're taking as a listing, and you want to go and see what the RPR is worth, and it doesn't show up, and you'd be scratching your head saying, why can't I get that to happen? Very simply, you can go two ways for it. I'm going to show you the easy way first. The easy way is what we call the standalone. Okay? My home, I bought from the builders 20 years ago. It's never been on the MLS, so I can't look it up in Stella. I would have to go here to the standalone, which is NAR, the National Association of Realtors Property Resource, RPR.com, and hit enter. Now it brings up okay, so it's showing my property that I have, but I'll go right to the home page with it. Brings up the home page where you can enter an address, a place, tax ID, listing IDs.
Bonnie, what's that site again? NAR dot what?
NARRPR.com. Who can tell me what's the leverage with this? Who's not born and raised in Orlando?
Everybody in the state.
Okay. Go and look up the place that you were born in, and RPR will bring it up. Think about referrals, guys. Think about referrals. You can look up the properties where you're referring or where they're coming from. So in this case here, we would have just put the property in there. Whatever property you want. You see, I have some properties listed here. The last one I used last week was this one. So I would just put it in there, and automatically it would come up and tell me what it is. So if it's never been on the multiple listing service or it's out of the state, you can just go to NARRPR.com and get it that way. There's a secondary way to do that. I'll show you real quickly. While you're in your multiple listing service, if you don't use this beautiful tool, I'm going to tell you this. Thank the OGs, that's myself, that have been with Stella for 17 years. They tried to get rid of IMAP, and we begged them not to, because it's more powerful than Realist. We know that. If you use Realist, it's fine, but IMAP is so powerful. Why? Because guess what? When you go to IMAP and bring up any property, very nicely, what IMAP has done for us has put RPR built into it. So when you need RPR, if you couldn't find it in the MLS, go to IMAP, bring up the property, then click on the RPR there. It'll do the same exact thing and bring it to the subject property. Okay? I had an agent in Miami call me and said they couldn't see in their MLS through RPR. I said, do you have IMAP? She said, yeah. I said, go there, click on the RPR. So the kind word she said was, you're a genius, which I said, no, I just know how to play with the stuff. That's all. No genius. But anyway, back to where we're at. So the RVM for this property, 2631 Archfeld, is 630,160. Confidence score is 5. The RVM or AVM confidence score describes the expected accuracy of a property's RVM or AVM estimate. A 5-star rating is the highest confidence rating and 0 the lowest. The confidence score is based on outcomes from multiple automated. Oh, I didn't get to say this yet. The reason I trust RPR is your MLS is flawed. I have a lot of people tell me I just use the CMA wizard built into the MLS. Great. Ronnie used to use it too. We also used to use Cloud CMA, which is flawed. The reason it's flawed is RPR told you they pull from off-market properties. The MLS does not pull from off-market properties. How many of you have done a FSBO? How many of you have taken the 3 hours that it takes to put it into Stellar just to get credit for that FSBO? Yeah, that's valuable data. And people that are lazy do not do that, and that's why it's missing. But RPR pulls from the tax record, so we have that data. That's the best part about it. The reason I brought up Cloud CMA, in case you don't know it, it's not available anymore to us for free. You now have to pay. It's a premium subscription. The same way I used to use this tool in this class called Remind. Remind was a great tool, and because nobody in Stellar MLS used it, now it's a premium tool, and it costs $119 a month to use it, where we were getting it for free. And I'm so aggravated. That was one of the best tools out there to use for CMAs, etc. Anyway, let's get back to the confidence score. What does the confidence score tell us? So if you say learn about the confidence score, takes us to RPR's blog page. And then as we scroll down, you will see that the confidence score in reality, where'd it go? I got to click on it. Let's see, where are you? There we are. Okay, if it's 5-star, the sales price is likely to be with plus or minus 10% of the RVM 90% of the time. 4 stars, 15%, 90% of the time. 3 stars, 20% of the sales price, 90% of the time. 2 stars, 25, and finally 1 star, 30%. So if it's 4 stars, you got to do a little homework. 3 stars, you got to do more homework, etc. Guys, it's not that much of a big deal. So that's why this confidence score of 5-star, take it to the bank when it's that. All right, so now that we're here, how do we do in our CMA is what you're going to say, right? Well, on the handout, it would say to us to scroll right down here. See where it says CMA value? It says create a CMA. I'm going to click on create a CMA. It is now going to take us to what they call the wizard. Okay? Now, if you don't do this in the beginning, you'll have to do it later, but I would strongly encourage you to write down the fact that this is a 5-bedroom, 5-bath built in 2007, and it has a living square footage of 2342. We're going to use that to our advantage later when we're searching for comps. What I want you to look at is, though, this very, 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 it says select analysis type. The default is comparative analysis. It's build an estimate based on comps, okay? And they're telling you what's the difference. You can read it. The key differences between RPR's comparative analysis, sales comparison tools are the adjustments that can be made and reports that generate afterwards. The CMA is simply adjustment options that can be included in the sales report. Some of you will say to me, well, it's got Goldie Gold faucets and gold is coming out of those faucets. They added on an extra bedroom and they did this and they did that. Great. Not a big deal. If the property is that unique, what would you strongly be encouraged to do? Don't do a CMA, do an appraisal. If it's that specific. The idea here is to save time, guys. I told you this CMA takes nothing to do and it'll hold up every single time. I promise you when I tell you. The second part here, it says sales comparison analysis, a more detailed evaluation. If you click on that, then you can do adjustments, etc. That is a whole entire 3-hour plus class, how to do it. RPR does offer some webinars in the learning part, the learning center. If you really want to do that, that's on your own. The reason I bring this up is this software was redone about 2 years ago. And this is what it now says: comparative analysis based on estimate, based on comps. Sales comparison analysis, a more detailed evaluation. Well, I've been using RPR since 2014 when I started to use it. And what I did was I found out the biggest aha of all. And the biggest aha of all with that was, let me see if I can get this to share. Let's see, where did you go? You know, I don't know why the share likes to be timid with us. Let's see, stop there. And where'd it go? Okay, if you look at the screen here, you'll see it says today, right? A more detailed evaluation. I have it underlined. But guess what? This is what this software looked like in 2014. What does it say there in the box? A workflow for appraisers. Oh, you mean appraisers use RPR? The thing that happened was it scared the bejesus out of realtors who said, I'm not an appraiser, and never would use this tool on this side. But the aha for me was, wait a minute. Appraisers, yeah, they're licensed realtors. They use RPR. So now to get the realtors to use it, they reworded it to say just a more detailed evaluation. Now you understand how powerful this tool is. Appraisers are using it, so why aren't we? And that's the key to the puzzle. All right, so if we get back to, all right, come on, change. There we go. Okay, so now we look on the right side and it says home facts. All right. So in here are the home facts, meaning it's a 5-bedroom, 5-bath, 5 full baths. The listing data says that. The public record data says that. We really don't care. The only thing we really care about is that the living square footage is correct, because that's what the taxes are based on. What I mean by that is if the public record data said 20 bedrooms, your buyer would care, because that means the bedrooms are tiny. If everything is correct, you don't have to make adjustments here. For this is for your report to make sure that your report looks the right way. So if it's all okay, you just say confirm facts and close. Once you say confirm facts and close, okay, we are now going to go to where it says find comps. It's that simple. We click on find comps, okay? When we click on find comps, up at the top, it says this, what it is. Remember, I told you write it down because that will help you immensely. Now, before I go any farther, because I've been challenged with this and they told me RPR don't work. Remember, it updates every 2 to 4 weeks. So what happens if it updated on 6/7? But what happens if yesterday there was a great comp that sold? Yeah, that's not in RPR yet. And that's why I've been challenged with it doesn't work, it doesn't have all the data. But guess what? RPR made it easy for you. Right here, add a known property. You can now add that extra property that closed yesterday. So you can bring it up to date. Okay. We're going this way. We already know we got enough in here. We're going to search an area for several properties. Now, you can do it two ways. Those of you that like to use the map, you can do the draw a shape, box, radius, polygon. Subject property is that pin right here. The only caution I'm going to tell you is this. If you're unfamiliar with these subdivisions, be careful. If you draw the shape and go outside of the subdivision, you might bring in inferior comps. Right here, Indian Creek Boulevard, very nice, very nice. It's not gated, okay? There's no amenities like community pool, tennis courts, etc. Yet there's still comparables in there, but they're not as good as being here in Windsor Hills, where I would draw the box just around Windsor Hills. And that was it. Okay? So be careful when you use this beautiful tool. The next thing, prior to the pandemic, 2020, the default for comps were within the last 3 months. That's the way I was taught. That's the way I grew up with. You always only looked 90 days prior. You didn't go back any more than that. But guess what? When the pandemic happened, they couldn't find enough comps. So then the default became 6 months. And the default was 6 months. And now we had to go back 6 months. And guess what? This is what I learned. Appraisers can use comps up to a year old, and then will give a weight towards the fact that they're a year old to compensate superior, inferior comparables. Okay? Fast forward to today, where we're back to some kind of normal, and now the default in RPR is 3 months. But what if you go into a neighborhood that it doesn't bring up any comps for you in 3 months? Then you would hit the drop down and go 6 months or even 12 months and then use what I just explained to you. Okay. For our purposes, leave everything else alone. I used to tweak this down to our subject property is what, 2342. I used to tweak this to 2000 to 2400 just to get it as tight as I could. Not anymore, because I want a potpourri, because I've learned. Is there anybody on this call that used to do BPOs back in the day? That means you'd have to be in the business in 08, 09. Yeah, broker price opinions. So
I have.
you learned how to leverage. And what we learned with broker price opinions, the difference in square footage is $50 a square foot, which is peanuts when you're looking at properties. That's why I say write down the square footage. We're going to use that to our advantage. Okay?
Honey, I have a question. Do you have a second? Can I ask a question?
Yeah, you can ask 2 questions. I have 2 seconds.
Okay, so you're saying that if there's nothing in the subject properties community within the 3 months, go back as far as a year. You wouldn't go into a neighboring community to get
As long as that neighboring community is apples for apples. And what do I mean by that? You ask a great question, because it just happens so that, okay, Windsor is a full man-gated community, full-blown resort. Indian Creek is not, but over here, Wyndham Palms is comparable to Windsor Hills. If you know that, I would, yes, look at comps in here to help us. I would not, though, look here in Indian Creek, because Indian Creek does not have the same amenities. That's a great question. Absolutely correct. Yeah. So I could do that. right? Because what do we want to do? Street, subdivision, and then go out, from there. Okay? That answer your question?
Yes.
Very good. Formosa Gardens here too. On here is Formosa Gardens. This one also could help you. Acadia Estates is okay, but I know the area, and that's the point I'm trying to make to you guys. All right. So with that in mind, I just like to hit the search button. I hit the search button. Shazam! Look at them pop up. Boom! And look how many are in Windsor Hills, right next to the subject property, et cetera, et cetera. And they say what? Subject, for sale, circle, distressed properties. Uh-oh, distressed property. We ain't seen that in a long time. For sale pending, and of course, recently closed. Okay. Indian Creek has some too, but I don't want to use them, like I said, for the reason being they're not identical apples for apples per se. All right. The next thing I want to bring to your attention is, if you notice, you'll see right here, there's nothing here. There's a reason why. And that reason, I forgot to mention it. I'll have to go back to modify search just to show you the search. If you noticed, I did not click on condo because this part of Windsor is all condos. We do not want condos. We're talking about single family. So yeah, make sure that you are looking at single family. If your subject property is single family, the software will default to it. But if you're searching on your own, it may not. You know what I'm saying? So make sure this says whatever your subject is, so you don't have additional properties that you don't need. All right. So I'm going to click search. Okay. So it's 15 sold properties. Now, 15 sold properties. We're going to use computer skills to our advantage. Up at the top here, you'll see it says dollar square footage, bed. We're going to click on the square footage. When we click on the square footage, what it does for us is now put it from high to low. High to low. What was the square footage of this property? 2342. I am going to go right down to 2342 and look at that as my first comp. This is how you save time. Now, to bring to your attention, this is actually the first one that's 2342. You see this star right here? This star is what was used in the RVM for RPR, what they used to come up with that 630. Are you going to use this comp? Maybe. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. How many solds do we need to start and make this CMA look like a CMA? It's 3. How many of you have seen an appraisal? An appraisal has 3 active and 3 solds, correct? Can they do more than 3? Yes, just be careful. I did it one time where I used 4 and the buyer called me out on it, and we used the lowest one, which was the 4th one, which was in the time. So I learned a valuable lesson. Okay. So for the essence of time, I've already picked out what I'm going to use. We'll talk about it a little bit, and then as we get into it, if time permits, we can go in great detail. So the first one I used to start our comps is 7722 T-Scone Boulevard. Okay. It is a 5-bedroom, 5-bath, built in 05. It is 2342 square feet, the same identical square footage as our subject property. It is 0.3 of a mile, probably right around the corner. It closed on May 12th, just about a month ago. It closed for $550. I'm going to add that to my comps list. On the right side, you're going to see a comp list start to appear. And now it's going to show you the range, and it's also going to see the comps that you're using. I'm going to look now for additional. The next one I'm using is 2621 Archfield Boulevard. Our subject property is what? 2631 Archfield Boulevard. This is right next door. It closed on 5/29 about 2 weeks ago for 600,000. The square footage is minimal. 2297 versus 2342. 5 bedroom, 5 bath, closed in 2000, built in 2007. I will add that to my comp list. You'll see that we're starting to get more of a spread now. That's coming up. The last one that I selected was 2640 Archfeld, across the street. Closed on 5/7 for $700,000. 5/5, little smaller square footage, built the same year. It was used in RPR's RVM. I add it. Now, if I want to take a look at the three solds, I have a price range between 550 and 714. That's not the final, because you see at the bottom here, it says update, valuation, and close, means the average. But the next thing we want to do is now we want to add our actives. You can use actives and or pendings. Okay? I will give you my personal opinion. I will use, as long as it falls into place, pendings over actives every day. Can somebody tell me why I would use a pending over an active, as long as it warrants it?
Somebody already is trying to purchase it, they already made an offer on it and have a price established.
Okay, anything else?
Days on market to contract.
Anything else? Okay, what's the leverage of a pending over an active? You all said it went under contract, right? What's the leverage? You didn't know there's going to be script and role play in this, is there? So I'm going to use my friend Carrie Ann Sullivan as my script partner. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Carrie Ann, how are you? It's Ronnie with Keller Williams Costabile. Thank you so much for taking my call. Your property at 2549 Archfield Boulevard in Kissimmee. I see it's pending.
Yes, sir.
Carrie, I have a customer right in the same area looking to list their property, and we're trying to, price it right. Let me ask you, did you get full listing price? Of course, she's going to say, whatever. Okay. I'm not asking what the price is because I'm not fishing because I have a buyer. She may come back and say, we have multiple offers. Oh, great. Are they at or above listing price? I didn't ask her what the price was. She may come back and say, we have five cash and 2 financing. They're both below and above listing price. Okay, thanks very much. So you get an idea of what that 629, how it's holding weight. If she says, oh, we're in a multiple offer situation. Oh my God, you got above list price? Okay. Now I understand. Now you get an idea. So when you're trying to do this with another seller, your pendings are so much more powerful. Think about it if you're using RPR with a buyer and you ask the pending, what happened? Oh my God, they're all lowball offers. It's multiple offer, but it's all lowball. Okay, Mr. Buyer, where do you want to be? Okay, and you use this to help you. So I will take a pending every day over an active. So this one, 2549 Archfeld, I did use. 7709 Cromwell. If you notice, guys, look at what the proximity. That's the key, the proximity. 0.3 of a mile, 0.4 of a mile, okay, etc. Next one, 2683 Nesty. Where's that one? There it is over here. 0.21. All right. You might say to me, why didn't you use this one here, 2368, 6-bedroom? It's right the same thing exactly. It's only one more bedroom, but it's 3/4 of a mile away. Do you understand? I'm trying to keep it as tight to the subject property. That's 3/4 of a mile away. I don't want to touch that unless I have to. 3/4 of a mile away, I don't want to touch that. A mile away, I don't want to use that unless I have to. Okay? So that's the reason that I chose what I did. Now I have 3 active and or pending and 3 sold. I have my list of 550 to 714. Very simply, I click update valuation and close. RPR does its magic.
Ronnie, you muted yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you
Okay.
now.
I had to switch the bud when dead because I've been on since 6:30 this morning with early birds. Anyway, 629, 608. Oh my God. Wow, look at that. You comped it and it's coming out of 629, 608, round up 630. Okay. The next thing you're going to do is very simply, I like to go back to the property information page because I want to say to you, and I quote, what was the RVM? I didn't even have to do the CMA. I could have trusted RPR with the 630, which is the same thing you came up with, the same exact thing. But because we want to do a report, we went through that. And now what we're going to do is create a report. So I click on create a report. Now, there are new beta reports. I'm going to talk about that probably afterwards. I don't want to spend too much time on that now. What I will tell you is the legacy report is what you're going to use 99% of the time. The legacy report is either a property report, seller's report, flyer, mini property report, valuation workbook, etc. You can view the samples. 28 pages is the property report. I use that for my CMA. No, I am not sending them 28 pages. You can customize. You will see I'm going to put my handout for this report into the chat. You guys can print it out and have it. Here's the idea. You need the subject property, property values, etc., the comp analysis, home facts. The AARP Property Index is a fabulous tool. I'll show you in the report. It's great, even though it's a short-term rental property. Property photos, just click the one. Don't do the historical. That's what adds pages. You don't need refined value. You don't need a comp analysis. You do your comps and adjustments. Unless it's a distressed property, you don't need it. You don't need the neighborhood stats, the rest of these, etc. And that will wean it down to about 7 pages double-sided. Okay? Which is 14 total pages. And that works for a D, an I, an S, and a C. You know your disc profile. The high Cs want what? All of the information. If you get a high C and they're not satisfied, guess what? I'm going to tell you to do what I did. I had a seller in my neighborhood, and he was very, very particular and said, Ron, I like the mini report, because that's what I sent him, the mini report. And he said to me, and that's only 12 pages because it's specific to the area. He says, I need more material. That's how I knew it was a high C. So I went here to the seller's report, which is 81 pages. I emailed it to him and got the listing. If you look at the 81 pages, it has graphs, it has charts, it's got everything soup to nuts. But stay with 14 pages with the property report. Let me see if I can now share the property report. Let me do this first. I'll take it and I want to put it in the chat for you guys. So we'll stop that. Let's go to the chat. Computer. 2631. There we go. Open. Okay. Got there. Okay, so it's on its way to you guys. I'm going to bring it up here. Shared. Okay. Now, if you haven't done this in RPR, it's your profile page. You want to do the profile. Make sure it's got all of your information. If your market center is hooked up, it should already say Keller Williams at the Lakes, right? That's what you guys are. Keller Williams Realty at the Lakes up here. Like mine says classic because I'm classic. Okay. First page is what? Just a picture of the house. At the bottom is all your information. That's what you want there. Next thing, page 2 shows the subject property, tells them the list price. Well, in this case, the list price wouldn't be there. You're taking the listing, right? It says the current estimated value. Guess what, guys? That's the MOFR. That's the equity analysis that we call on pivot shift. That's what you're going to use to get them to bite. And I'll teach you how to do the quick one, because the quick one is how you can really get business in spite of yourself. So our comp analysis is 629, 608. You'll see it's only 13 pages. That's it. Double-sided, it's 7 pages. Okay, shows them the facts about the house, extended home facts about the house, what's going on, okay, foundation, etc. The property report talking about it. This is the one page you definitely want to have. The AARP livability index for 34747. I don't care if you're 29 or 129, because all of you said, well, I'm not old enough for AARP. Why do I want this? Why do you want this? Because what does it say? A score above 50 is above average, meaning if you're brand new first-time home buyers that are in their 20s or 30s looking to buy, this is a great tool to show them. Even in the short-term rental community, it's almost an average neighborhood for housing, for the neighborhood itself, right? For transportation, environment, health, okay? The engagement opportunity is there too. So I'm not saying they'll buy there, but this is good for every area. It's a great tool just to stick in there. So that's why I keep that page in there. Property report, because I had to include it with this because it's attached to this. Just shows the pictures, which they already know. Comps and adjustments shows your work. Here's the subject property. Here are the actives that I used, showing them exactly what I did, and the closed comparatibles that I used. The next thing, it tells them the property history. Okay, I should have bought this when? Back in 2014, when it bottomed out. Could have got it for $175,000. Note to self. Okay. Shows you the sales history, what it sold for back in the days. Okay. Gives you the property, but who owns it, etc. Property report showing when it went pending, when it was closed, when it was a new listing, what it was assessed for, etc. Okay. This is great thing showing you what? The economist of choice. We talk about that all the time. The economist of choice. Be the economist of choice. If you're not on a pivot shift call, you're missing out on that. Anyway, price change when it took place. And the last page, you definitely want this about RPR. It lets RPR explain to them all about And there is what it's called, Realtors Property Resource. Realtors Property is a wholly owned subsidiary of National Association of Realtors, the comprehensive data, including nationwide database of 164 million properties. Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you're moving to Michigan. I can tell you what that home you're buying is going to be compared to using RPR to find out that data for you. Okay, that's why you chose to hire me as your consultant. Tells you about the demographics, etc., the frequency when it's updated, etc., and how you can learn more even by visiting the blog. It won't let them in to see anything, okay, but the public website so they can learn more. All right. All right. So now, who has questions about the report or anything that we've done so far? Got 2 minutes to spare. Thank God.
And also for buyers, not only for sellers
I-
come.
I'm sorry. Please speak up because I can't hear you.
I'm asking if you can do that for buyers also, not only for resellers,
Yes.
Buyers would be the same exact way.
right?
Well,
And
what
you
do you
are-
want to do with the buyers? Now think about this, guys. You saw me choosing comps, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing it from the seller's point of view because it's a CMA, which is usually for sellers. So to the sellers, you want to make it that it's priced right, meaning what? It's not overpriced. What do I want to do if I'm doing a buyer?
Same thing, like give him like it's not overpriced for you to buy.
No, with the buyer, you want to choose ones that are higher and then say, look, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, we're confident that it should be at 670 and it's only listed at 640. You're already really saving 30,000. And I think there's a little more. Maybe we'll go off of 620. No, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, not at 640. You tell me we'll offer 575 because I know they're desperate to sell it. That's how you stop the buyers from doing lowball offers. This is a beautiful tool. And Terry Story said it this morning on Early Birds. You can make the numbers work any way you want, which is true. It's kind of like appraisers do that too. When they're
Ronnie, we have a question on the chat.
go
It
right ahead.
says, what do you say when the seller looks online at a Zillow type site and it says, for example, 610?
I love you. I love you all. That's the next part. That's part two. We're
All
gonna
right,
just
Melissa, stand by. It's coming.
we're gonna justify. We're gonna justify. We're gonna justify the 630 because this is what I learned. I've been teaching this for 10 years, and then I didn't think about you put it down in front of them at the listing presentation, and what do they say to you? What do they say to you? Melissa, you already said it. What do they say to you? Well, the Zilio said, correct? And Ronnie used to do the same thing as all of you are probably still doing. Well, you know, there's no A for accuracy in the Zestimate. I'm going to tell you right now, stop bashing Zillow. Does anybody know why? Does anybody know why you should stop bashing Zillow? It's okay. It's because I don't know why, but it seems to be the biggest hidden secret. And for the life of me, I can't figure it out. But that's why I'm so glad that I still teach this class. Because let's go over here to the matrix. And I'm going to the home. Okay. Oh, you may have seen it or you may ignore it like most people do. Let's see. Guess what? We're going to have access to California Regional MLS, the Mid-Atlantic MLS, And we're going to have South America MLS. Guess what? Your RPRs are going to look even better because we're tied into the local now. That is fabulous. I've already called and verified it with my pivot friends in California and my pivot friends in the Northeast that, yep, they use Bright and they use California Regional. So we're going to now have leverage because that's one of the hiccups with RPR. If you're trying to do compage in, let's say, because they're not attached to them, Texas, you'll get most of their data, but because you're not tied into the local, that local realtor will see more because I've had that where we couldn't find each other. But now with it opening up where they're sharing and they're showing it, so if you look at this real quickly, we're getting integrated. We already got Alabama. You know that, right? We got Alabama and Georgia. You didn't know that? Yeah, we're attached. You can see listings in Alabama and Georgia. Now we're going to be able to see California listings, Mid-Atlantic listings, which is Maryland up to Jersey and parts of Pennsylvania. And then we also got Central and South America. Wow, look at that. I can now tell you what's going on in Colombia and Venezuela. How about that? Think about how much more value now you bring to your buyers, sellers, and investors. Okay, so getting back to what I was talking about here. Where's Stella? Come on, Stella. What I was talking about with this is the fact that if I go up to here, we don't need that. We don't need that. And I go up to here and I go to search and I go agent. I'm not searching for an agent. I'm just going to search for an office. Please, please, pretty please, stop bashing Zillow. There are 23 Zillow offices in Stella MLS. They finally figured it out. They can't beat us. They now join us. They now paid for the IEX feed. They have the same feed that you and I do. So guess what? The Zestimate might be accurate according to MLS data. The Zestimate is not using RPR. Hopefully, their agents are that are with Zillow. But Zillow is now a legal brokerage. So now I had to retune and reword the next part of this because that's what happened to me. I laid down the RPR and they said, well, Zillow said. So now instead of saying there's no A for accuracy in Zillow, I now say, well, that is one opinion, just like Zillow, just like RPR. That's one opinion. Use it to your advantage now because I'm going to show you how we justify RPR. The way we justify RPR is on page 13 of the handout are all the links to what I'm going to justify to you right now. I'm going to go to them very quickly due to time, but you're going to see exactly how this makes sense to us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a screen and I'm going to go see a blank screen, correct? Okay. Now I am going to go into my real estate tool bag, my equity analysis, my justify bag. And in the justify bag is the first one. Because what Ronnie learned is this, guys. It took me 6 months to compile this list. Your buyers, sellers, and investors are already using these tools. They already have it, and they're using it against you. So the first one is the nasty, nasty bank. The nasty, nasty bank, we need that nasty bank. But guess what? That nasty, nasty bank is not your friend. And very simply, what I'm going to do is go right here where it says estimate what your home is worth. I put in Archfeld, I click on it, And it tells you 631, 823, round up to 632. I'm starting to compile a list here. I'm starting to compile a list. So I write down Bank of America, 632. Guess what? I'll take, I have 17 to choose from. I might take 6 or 7 if they all agree. I will print out this page that says the 632. When I lay down RPR and they said the Zilio said, I will say, well, Bank of America said this one said this one said that, lay it down across there. Shut up, let the silence do the heavy lifting. As soon as you know you got them, because he who speaks first loses, you tell them, I don't make the market, I interpret it. And you can use this beautiful script line that came from our friend Tulio Pena from the Pivot Call. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the market has spoken. If you see this, you can print out the first page. It'll tell you the comparable properties that they used for this. Now, some of them are from last year, so you'll tell them. Some of them are from a year ago, okay? But overall, they're coming up with the 632. I've written that down. Next one, I'm just going to keep going. Okay. The next one is that other nasty bank, that is Chase, home value estimator. What I want you to pay attention is you see, if you go and put into Google search engine, what's my home worth, and click on the first one, 9 out of 10 of them are going to say what? Put the address, put your name and number, your phone number, your email, and then we'll give you the value. They want to collect your data. This is what I'm avoiding. You do not have to sign up. You do not have to create these accounts. You're going here freely, and they will tell you exactly. This one is 633.8, 634. I've written down Chase, 634. Okay. I go to the next one. Okay. This one is actually in MLS. Sometimes it works through the MLS. I put it separately. It's called Realtor.com. Realtor.com. Right? Put in the address. I click on it. What? Realtor.com gives you a real estimate? What? Yeah, they've been doing this for about 3 years. How many of you knew that Realtor.com decided to join Zillow and provide an estimate? Yeah, okay. You're paying for it, and the tools are there. Now, if you scroll down, oh, wait a minute. It's over here. The real estimate, okay, it's a valuation model. Let's see, is the market value, is that where it is? See, that's where it asks you to create an account, which I don't want to do. That's how it hides the real estimate on you. So because of that it hides you, if you go back into your MLS, sometimes they give it to you, sometimes they don't. But if you go back into your MLS and we look at our property, the icon is right here. Realtor.com Pro Search. You're all pros. Hopefully you have already signed up and did your professional account with them, which you should. That'll get you business. Okay. Click on it, brings it up. All right. When you click on view property, or sometimes it's right here. Let me see, did I put it down here? No, I have to click on the real property on Realtor.com. Then as we scroll down, it now opens up and gives you the real estimate. There's the real estimate. Core Logic is what? Core Logic is Matrix. That's your MLS. 626, 238. Quantarium is artificial intelligence. There was an article on it 9 months ago that spoke and said that's going to be the new one. Sometimes you'll have collateral analytics. Collateral analytics is also going to give you an estimate. Sometimes it does, sometimes it don't. So now you see I've given what? If I print this out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different opinions, plus the RPR, plus the Zilio that they already have. Do you understand how we're trying now to get them to self-discover for themselves that this is what's going on. Now, Cocoon, that's an artificial intelligence too. Cocoon lately, though, has not been my friend, and I'll tell you why. Hasn't been my friend because when you put it in, sometimes it finds it, sometimes it don't. But lately, when I do it, and it says empowering homeowners and investors to profit, it has given some real low estimates, 578. So if this is the case, it's not agreeing with what I have, I am not going to use it per se. But you're going to find out because I kept it anyway. I wrote it down at the bottom of my sheet. You're going to realize that it really doesn't make that much of a difference. And I'll show you why when we get to it. They also give you the property score, the home value, and the forecast up to 2030, which I think is way off, unfortunately. And that's okay. But guess what? What happens when your buyer or seller says to you, well, Cocoon said it's worth 578. I'm only offering 600 on the 640. You better justify it by coming with the other data that you have. All right, let's continue on. Justify, that was Cocoon. Next one. This is Penny Mac. It's another bank. I use a lot of the banks, guys. And you're going to go in there. You're going to put in, and you'll see it's there. You click on I'm not a robot. Get home value estimate. Scroll down, and they say 621. So I wrote down Penny Mac with 621. Okay? Don't worry that you're saying, well, it's not as good as the other three. Don't worry about it. They give you what the estimates are, okay, and what they use to come up with this stuff, this one here, etc., etc. Okay? Next thing, we're going to back up, go into the justify, and we're going to go to this one, home value estimator. This is another bank, rate.com. Paste it in, click, see my home value. Rate says 632. Oh, happy day. I'm going to write that one down, 632. Very good. Tells you what's happening with the 30-year fixed rate. This is more information that you can provide to your prospective customer. Okay. Next one we're going to go to. Axos is another nationwide bank. I put in the address. They come back and say it's worth 640, which is the list price. Okay, no big deal. 640, ready to sell. Contact a connected agent. Tells you what's going on in the area. If you needed the stats, okay, quarterly and the monthly. If you click on the monthly to tell you prices and sales, more data. RPR has all of this too, but this is more and more data that you can do. Similar properties, they're showing you their comps, etc., etc. Okay. Next thing, go back into the equity analysis folder. Mavoto. Mavoto, if you're as long a realtor as me, we used to pay Mavoto for guaranteed leads and then give them 30% referral fee. They were well qualified buyer and seller leads, and they followed up with you. And if you didn't follow up with them, they cut you off. They were on top of you more than you were on top of the lead. Okay, so I click on it. Sometimes you got to prove that you're a human being. Let me see if that's the case here. It goes through. Oh, well, put me up there. Let's see. Yep. Gotta make sure I'm a human. So the AVM is 632. They're estimating it at 684, but I like the AVM much better. So it's there, the AVM estimate of 632. This is totally out of whack. Totally out of whack. So I will take the 632 and incorporate that. Gives you a lot of information in there, tells you about it, so you have more information about the property. The next one that we're going to take. This is my favorite one. How do you think the for sale by owners determine what the price of their property is? They come right here to this site and they put in their property address. And between that and the Zillow is where they decide. They don't know now that Zillow is illegal, or I might say they all thought that Zillow was always a legal brokerage, which is not true. It was the biggest marketing tool. And that's how they got able to take over us. And of course, they stole from us. We know that. Let me see if I can get this to work now. Come on now. Oh, that's right. This one didn't like the address. So I had to keep backing out. Sometimes they don't like the address. You got to wait till it shows its address, and then it'll work for you. Maybe. I hope. Oh, come on. Worked last time. I think it was that. There we go. 634. So I wrote that one down. Definitely wrote that one down here. If you are like me and you read a lot of the articles in the real estate world, the next one they claim is one of the most accurate. I don't know if I agree with that, but they say Redfin is one of the most accurate for pricing your property. So we go there, we pull up Redfin. Redfin says it's worth 620. 620. So I wrote that down. 620. They show you comparables in the area too. They let you know what's going on, etc. The next one that I have, and you noticed I haven't signed into any of these. And that, guess what? Your buyers, sellers, and investors are doing the same thing. They're going right to these sites and using it against you. The next one is Rocket Homes, another mortgage company. How much is your home worth? Rocket stopped this site for a while and they were asking you to register. And then they must have lost a lot of business. So they put it back. Now it's free. They also tell you how long it's going to say, how long it should take to sell. Our days on market are floating about 100 in most price points right now. Yep, that's true. 634 estimated value tells you their homes in the range, compatible, fastest selling, variable homes that they have. A lot of great tools that you can use to your advantage. Okay. They're saying Polk County is a buyer's market. Okay. Now, here's the funny part. This home is located in Osceola County, not Polk County. Polk County is not a buyer's market. I live in Polk County. Four Corners area is not a buyer's market right now. So that's where you got to watch all of this, because your sellers and buyers are seeing, and your buyers are saying, oh, they're all overpriced. It's a buyer's market. I could choose what I want. Not true. It's still hyper local. Remind me if we have time. I'll show you the report I got yesterday from Orlando Business Journal, where Dr. Phillips, the homes appreciated 42% in the last year. What? We ain't seen that since the pandemic. All right. Next one that I have is, in fact, I take and I go right to the Zillow. You said the Zillow said that? Oh, let me just bring that up to put that alongside of us, but I already had it printed out. And if I go to the Zillow says it's 620, 400. So wait a minute. Does that mean that the list price at 640 is wrong and it's overpriced? How many of you think it's overpriced?
Not after seeing all these comps from all these sites.
So reality is this, it's not overpriced. My gut tells me that they listed it for negotiations. There's two ways to list it. listed for a build-in negotiation because they're expecting to get an offer of 620. So they want to build a negotiation. That's why they put 640. Now, if it sits on the market day after day after day, they priced it wrong, obviously. Or you price it right to get it to sell quickly. But the theme of the matter is, if you see here, see if I can get it. There we are. I put them all down. I added them all up, divided by it. And if you divide it, the average from every one of these was 630,000. Was that not the same as the RPR that we clicked on the first time? Did we need to spend an hour and a half doing anything when RPR already told us? That's the point I'm trying to make. Number one. Number two, if I added Cocoon in, which I kept it at the bottom, that was the 578. It brought the average down to 625. It's still not that bad, even using Cocoon in there. If you wanted to bring it with you, I wouldn't because it's too far low. Because they're going to say, nope, 578, that's what it should be. That's it, especially with the buyer. But the 630 is the average, the same thing that RPR told us from the thing. Point I'm trying to make is, like I think I mentioned in the beginning, most agents who don't practice this and learn this beautiful tool come running up to me and say, Ron, I got to comp this thing. Can you help me? Yeah. You know what Ronnie does? I just go right to all 17 of what I just showed you. And I take it, I average it out. I said, here it is. Well, that's not a CMA. I said, take all those things, print it out. It's good enough. I don't have 2 hours to teach you how to do the RPR CMA and to choose properties. Lazy that you were. If you would have gave me 2 hours, I would have taught it to you. But the point being is you just print out those pages that equal each other, take it as your part of your listing presentation. That's the pricing tool. That's the pricing tool.
And how smart do you look walking into a seller with these comps from all these different sites that you did all this research and they think that you are really the expert?
And
nobody's doing this.
and nobody's doing it. And some of them might say in their mind, yeah, that's what I saw the other day when I looked on that site. Okay. They won't tell you that. But you know what I'm saying? How smart are you? So there's where you are smart. Very smart with this. Okay. So any other questions on this? There's more RPR to teach you. There's more to teach you. Anyone? Anyone? Anyone?
You
No?
come back and do it again?
Well, yes. Well,
Teach it once a quarter.
if Carrie Ann likes me and if Donna lets me.
Well, the good thing is we're recording it too, so this will be on the Agent Hub and you guys can reference it anytime. And
Thank you.
I recommend pulling up Ronnie's video and having your MLS open alongside of it and do it side by side if you weren't able to keep up during this class. I've used Ronnie's technique and it works. Walking into a seller appointment and having all those numbers because they don't think about going to the banks. You know, they think of realtor.com and Zillow, and that's really it. So it does work.
Thank you for reminding me, Carrie. All of you guys, if you copy that link or share it around, that's my YouTube page that I created back in 2016 for my Ignite students because we had to do it because it was very heavily video intense. There's all my RPR classes on there. There's the 2 I taught last month, one at North Jersey, one in Atlanta. This one's going to be on there. When I get it, I'm going to put this one on there and all that I've taught for the last 5-6 years. My open house classes on there. Those of you that don't know how to use command, there's command classes on there. DTD2, how to do the DTD2. The golden letter. Some of you may know the golden letter, how we use the golden letter. There are so many different things on there, guys. Feel free to use it. Feel free to abuse it. It's not password protected. It's open to the masses. I don't care. I mean, that's what we do. We share and do everything we can. So that's all there. If you need to go back to there, it's all there. So it's free for you to use. All right, let's go back to RPR because I have a few things I want to teach you. Let's see. So where was RPR? Is this? No, that was the handout. I need. Uh, there. Here it is, Archfeld. Let's go here. Go on. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'll take it back to RPR. We'll get back into RPR. And guess what? If we go to the home page and we go to learning, okay? Next gen reports. These are in beta. Remember, I told you to use the property report. But guess what? This is the new and improved way to do all of your customers. We're going to look at the 1 minute. Did it come up and pop up? Did that pop up? Can you see
Yes.
it? Okay, good.
Getting it? You and I in the chat, I don't know why. Put 20 people in. Didn't get it? Bonnie's YouTube page. Yeah, I sent it.
Can't hear the video.
Text is that we can't hear him.
That's the key right there to this whole thing. This is unbelievable. Blew me away when I first saw it. Copy dynamic link. Let me let her finish and then we'll talk about it.
So Ronnie, we can't hear her talking on the video. I don't know if it's because it's on your computer and we're live. So do you recommend that they go in and click on this item and listen to it?
Yes, absolutely. But I'll share with you exactly what it means. Let it finish what she's going through the motions. Now I remember. Share sound, that would help. Very good, Ron. All right, so now go back to it. Now let's try it again.
RPR's next generation
Did you hear her talking?
Yeah.
Yes.
reports
Yes.
offer a lot of exciting features. You can fully customize your report exactly how you want. But if you're in a rush, generating a report can be very quick. Let me show you how. Select Create Report from any property, search results, or the map, or select Report Templates from the top navigation bar. Choose the template you want. If you went from the top navigation, you'll need to enter in your report location here, or just the report title if you were already viewing a property or search. Select Continue. Preview your report in the viewer. You can adjust your report using the side panel, uncheck or check elements, drag and drop sections, or follow prompts like Select Photos for further edits. If the preset selections look good, check your cover page to make sure your contact information is correct. You can add a personalized message if you like, then select Save. Save as a draft allows you to simply save and come back later. Save as template allows you to keep all your preset selections to use for future reports. Select Share to share your report with the client. Copy dynamic link copies the link of the report that will update every 48 hours when accessed. Email will let you email that same dynamic link, and share to social gives you direct links to share your report to your social media accounts. Choose download to download a static PDF version of the report. That's it. Now your report is ready to go.
Okay, so the aha is this. It updates in real time every 48 hours. No need to send them stats, then resend them stats, then resend them stats, then resend them stats. Why? Because if you use your MLS to send the stats, that's fine, but you should be using RPR because RPR has the residential stats. You put in, let's do just this. Celebration, Florida, right? Kissimmee, whatever. Here are the market trends for the area, right? And it goes by market type. It tells you it's a balanced market, seller's market, buyer's market, the medium sold price, how many months of inventory there are. Look at that. And that is holding true in the Kissimmee area. Not every single Kissimmee neighborhood, but most of them, the overall. What's the best part about this? You have all of these different cards that you can send to them. You can print out, put it into your listing presentation, your buyer consultation to show them. It's all done for you. You don't even have to think on it. Tells you the medium days in RPR, tells you the month supply of inventory, 12-month change, what's been going on here, etc. And then the most beautiful part are the beta reports and or this, guys. You can share it to where? You can share to Facebook, to Twitter, LinkedIn, copy it, put it as a JPEG, PNG, whatever. You also can do this. You can create a script. RPR has the AI built right into it. You can talk as a professional. You can talk engaging, conversational, friendly, or casual to your buyers and sellers, to just buyers, just sellers, first-time home buyers. How many of you do video? Video with your people? That's the new thing. You can create a video script. And what do I mean by that? It creates the script and it tells you what to put in there. Opening shot, standing in front of the KW sign, tells all of the script has been done for you, tells you where to put the closing shot, etc., etc., etc. You can copy it, you can export it, and or you can send it by email. If you're doing a social campaign, not only does it give you the script, it gives you the emojis already in there for you, already done. This is all provided to you with your current membership. Please, please use it. I don't want to hear one day that they took it away like they've taken so many other things from us. It's the most powerful tool agents don't use. One other thing I want to show you here is, let's see, it's not here. I'll try to go to the home. You're with Keller Williams. Keller Williams is big on one-pagers. I guess somebody from Keller or somebody from RPR either is with Keller or did it develop it. Step-by-step directions, printables, printables, printables. So now, here are all the printables, but guess what? You can go here to look at them, but what I'm going to do for you is this. Let's stop the share. Let us go into the bag of tricks. There they are. Pull them up like this. And then come over here. I just put in the chat all 36 pages of the printables. I'll go through them real quickly. You can see them right here. The RPR printables, okay? Has all the links to RPR, how to create your account, yes? Goes from start to finish. Profile and settings. The home page, what to do with the home page. Let me reduce this, I can go faster. Printable, My Markets, how to set up the My Markets so you can share with them. Property search and results, map search and analysis, okay? Mailing labels, who knew there was mailing labels in RPR? Oh my goodness gracious, you can create mailing labels. Oh my God, this is such a great tool for free. Geographic farming, those of you like to farm. How do you analyze results? Property details. Additional resources that they have. Transactions, zip forms. We used to have zip forms in our MLS, not anymore. Not that I found. Neighborhoods that you can print out. This is coming from how's the market, right? This is the market trends. How you can do the school reports, print out the school reports to them. Market activity that you can print out. These are all stuff that you can use. Hey, they're going to tell you how to price a property using the RVM. Well, we just learned that today. We already know what to do with that. But they still have it and tells you how to do the CMA if you forgot. There's another way. Residential reports, telling you all those reports. You can do the report cover, make custom pages. You can insert the custom pages, share the reports on Facebook. The RPR app, how many of you use this app? 99% of what I showed you today, you could do in the field with the RPR app. Okay. I love when I go on vacation, I go up north to New Jersey and I tell my brother, you know what your house is worth? Here. That's what RPR says it's worth. You don't know that. You're a Florida realtor. No, it's my job to know that. Okay. Mobile CMA, property tour, etc. It just goes on and on and on and on. There is so much in there, guys, that we have. Please, please, pretty please, use it to your advantage. The next thing I want to show you is we learned this on the pivot shift call. And the day that it happened, I ran with it because I think I'm the one that got it. I don't think everybody else did because they still keep saying, no, it's done this way, it's done that way. So let me put that in the chat for you also. And I coined it. If you're an Inspire member, you can find this in Inspire. If you're not, this one I'm giving to you, it's my gift to you. It's called the Quick Equity Analysis. Okay, what is an equity analysis? An equity analysis is the sexy term for CMA. Everybody knows CMA, but nobody knows equity analysis. An equity analysis is how you get business. Those of you that are in Ignite, we teach you and beg you to do what? Do open houses and do door knocking. Door knocking comes with open houses. This is where Ronnie says, in spite of yourself, you'll get business. Why? Here's why, guys. I'll never forget, we were doing a mastermind one day, and the two agents looked at each other and said, oh, let's go out door knocking the other day. And they looked at each other and said, well, what are we going to hand out? And I looked at it and I said, are you serious or delirious? I says, what you're going to hand out is an equity analysis. Well, we don't know how to do that. So I had to show them how to do that. And how you do it is you go to narrpr.com. Okay. The next thing you do is you take the subject property, or you go to create a report off the subject property. Okay. It's already here, the RVM. That is the tease. That's the mofer. Because why? Because you create the report. I don't care which report you use except the property fire. Choose anyone except the property fire. You only have to print page 1 and 2. What do I mean by that? Page 1 is the picture of the property, your pretty information, and it's 1 page. The back of it is the current estimated value right here. Knock, knock. Hello. Hey, are you aware of your current estimated value of your home? Well, I go on the sites. Well, this is what we have, 694. Well, we think it's worth 680 or 600. Great. Do you have 15 minutes that I could come in and let's find out exactly what it's really worth? In spite of yourself, you just got business. Number one. Number two, in spite of yourself, you better have a blank listing agreement with you because now you're doing a listing presentation and you might get the listing. That's the idea of this. This is a mofer. This is the equity analysis. It's not the full-blown report. It's just the tease. Can you email this to your prospective customers? Yes. Can you email it to people in your database? Yes. All you want is this, estimated. You want them to raise their hand and say, well, I think it's worth more. Great. When can you sit down? You just got the listing appointment. Do you understand? That's the idea of this. If you were with Keller Williams back when Command first came around, her name was Kelly. May she rest in peace. The Kelly app was the original equity analysis. Those of you that remember Kelly, we used to put snap and either a zip code or a neighborhood. Hit enter, and Kelly brought up all the statistics for the neighborhood, for the snap, for the area, and everything. And then you could either email it to them, text it to them. That was a mofer. That was a mofer, but nobody wanted it. So they sunsetted Kelly. Truth be told, I still am the number one amount of usage of Kelly in the whole, North Florida region, definitely. And I think Keller Williams. I touched Kelly 35,000 times because I used to keep records, keep track of it. Closest competitor to me was 9,000 that I knew about. But anyway, this equity analysis will get you business, guys. What did it cost? What did it cost you? It costs you zero if you don't print it out, if you email it to everybody in your database. That's where we talk about do 2 equity analysis every day. Email it to your database, text it to your database. If you want to text it, you just create 2 snapshots, the front page and the second page. Email it to your people. And that's it. Very simply. Okay. Almost there. Questions, comments, anything for the greater good?
It was amazing, Ronnie. Thank you so much. So helpful.
You like it?
Yes.
All right. Last thing, because I'm nerdy like this when it comes to stats and stuff like that. And I know you guys want this. Okay. Now, if you're with here's the scary part. This is where Ronnie proves his point every single solitary time. How many of you in this room are with Oscar? How many of you are with Aura? Okay, good. I haven't been Oscar in a long time because I started with Oscar 17 years ago. Does Oscar have stats that they can provide to you?
Yes.
They probably do. I don't know where to find them. Somebody in your office should help you. But I'm going to show you this. This is why it's so important that we use the tools that we have. Okay. I'm at Orlando Regional Realtor Association right now. That's mine, Aura. Okay. I'm on Aura's homepage. Let me make sure it's the homepage. Did they change it now? Maybe they did. Let's go to Aura.
Are you looking for the Monday morning report?
No, that I know how to do.
Okay.
Trust me, I know how to do that. What I'm trying to show you is this. Oh, there it is. They made it smaller now. Do you see here it says member login? I'm not logging in. And you just said it, the Monday morning quarterback. I go to resources. I go over here, market reports. I go down here, the Monday morning quarterback, open the latest report, and I open it up. Well, guess what? Who else is opening this up? Your buyers, your sellers, and your investors. Yeah. All I got to do is put in Orlando statistics and bam, they'll get here. And they're using it against you. Now, if you've never seen the Monday morning quarterback, shame on you because it does it all for you. Those that of you that are working on buyers, the most important tool on the Monday morning quarterback is what? It's the ability to, let me see, I did have it up before. There it is. Number one,
Every month.
this first page you put on social media. It tells them what's going on with single family. There are no short sales. It got decreased to 1 from 3. Yeah, condos are all over the place, but there's no short sales in condos. But page 2 and page 10, this beautiful page right here, the list price to sales price ratio, the days on market in the price points. We are not in a buyer's market. This is a seller's market. Trending, as James said, to a balanced market. Balanced market would be 6. Last week, this was all under 5. Okay? When you have this information, you put it into your toolkit, meaning your listing presentation or your buyer presentation, then you can help yourself. But your buyers, sellers, and investors already have these tools and they're using it against you. Shame on you. You're paying for it. Okay? So if I go back there, and I'm sorry if I'm getting a little gruff, it's the passion. It's the passion. Because there's other reports. You can go back, you can go to Stellar MLS. When I did that post and everybody said, well, I'm in Polk County, I don't have these reports. Yeah, well, that means you don't know your MLS because when you go to Stella, guess what? Every one of the associations, East Polk is there, Bartow is there, Lakeland, Flagner, Lake and Sumter, that's Claremont, Lake Wales. It's all there, the same stuff. Osceola is there, even though it's not Oscar. Okay. You can print these out. Sarasota, because it go all the way down to Sarasota. Volusia. I get so frustrated when people tell me that, oh, well, we don't have that. Great. Okay. Last but not least, because I told you I was going to give you back some time. How many in this room are what's called a Florida realtor? Scary. How many of you are Florida realtors? All right, so we go, it went right to the right page to the page that I wanted. In Florida Realtors, there's a page here called Sun Stats. Sun Stats, you must log in. And then you, as the realtor, will get the stats. But guess what, guys? I also learned this. You ain't got to go to Sun Stats. You go here to Tools. You go to Sun Stats. You go on the right side here where it says interactive. Yeah, you got to log in. But when you go here to market statistics, PDF reports, guess what? What does it say here? Publicly available. That means the public can just come on here and say, oh, what happened? I don't think they have May yet. They have April. And you go view. And the stats that you should be showing them are already here. And they already know how much month supply of inventory from April 24 to April 25 we are at, how much it's up or down. They already have the information using it against you. Please, please, pretty please, do not let them use it against you. You pay good money to get in this business. You're good people. And this is why use these tools. That's all I got. I'm going to cut it short there. Give you 9 minutes back of your life. Questions, comments before we wrap it up? You can go to lunch. Was this good?
This
they're
was
all-
great.
You still want me back next quarter?
Of course, I always learn something new from you, Ronnie. So, and I watched it last year when you did it, and I did the same thing. Had
You
you
were in
up?
person last year, weren't you? Yeah.
Yes, yes, I was.
Yeah. Changed a little bit. It's getting better. I mean, RPR blows me away every single day. There's so many new things. It's incredible that we have this beautiful tool.
Yes, I agree.
You know, don't let the buyers and sellers abuse you. So,
Does anybody have any questions? Marie, does anybody in the room have any questions?
I think we're good. I think everything was perfect. Thank you so much.
so my information, I think, is on one of the handouts. Okay. You get stuck, you give Ronnie a call.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you.
If I'm busy, I call you right back.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Thank you so
Because
much.
I learn from you guys too. You're welcome. Carrie, thanks for having me again.
Thank you. And yes, we will definitely have you back. We appreciate you and your time. And I hope everybody gets a lot of value out of this. And go on and practice. Pull up any listing in our office or do a CMA on your own house. You know, play around with it, get familiar with it, and then it'll become second nature to you. So, and I didn't know about the app, so I'm excited. I just downloaded the app on my phone. So,
Yeah, that's a great tool.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome, guys. You all
all
have a
right.
great day. Be safe out there.
Thank
You
you,
too.
everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.